God says, someone waited 7 years just to find you, and now it finally happens. Stop right here. This is not a casual message, and it did not cross your path by accident. You have 15 seconds before distraction tries to pull you away. But heaven is pressing on your spirit now because there is one great thing waiting ahead of you. And you cannot afford to miss the meaning of this moment. You are not being addressed as someone ordinary. You are being addressed as someone God has marked, protected, corrected, and prepared in secret. Hear me clearly, the years behind you were not wasted years. They were years of hidden alignment. While you were wondering why certain doors closed, why certain people disappeared, why certain prayers seemed delayed, God was arranging what your eyes could not see. He was not only working on your heart, He was also shaping the one assigned to meet you in the right season. This person could not come too early, because what God is building in your life cannot be held by immature hands, anxious emotions, or unfinished wounds. Let me tell you the truth, this next chapter will not be driven by panic, fantasy, or desperate chasing. It will carry a different sound. Peace will be the sign. Clarity will be the witness. Purpose will be the foundation. You may already feel it. Something in your spirit has been quieter, deeper, more alert. It is as if your soul knows a door is opening before your mind has language for it. Lewis often reflected that the human soul is never truly at rest when it tries to live apart from God's order. And this is why the peace you feel now matters. It is not emotional excitement. It is holy confirmation. So do not rush ahead of God. Do not attach this word to the wrong person. Do not let old loneliness interpret a new promise. If this message is reaching the hidden place in you, command, I receive God's timing. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and share it with one chosen soul who needs strength tonight. Stay until the end, because what you are about to hear will explain why the waiting had to happen before the meeting could be released. This message found you today because your spirit is finally able to hear it without breaking under the weight of it. There was a time when a word like this would have made you restless. You would have searched every face, questioned every sign, and tried to force God's timing into your own understanding. But something has changed in you. You are not the same person who once begged heaven for answers just to calm a wounded heart. You are quieter now, stronger now, more careful with what you call divine. Hear me clearly, this is not because you stopped believing. It is because your faith has grown roots. God is saying that the reason this message reached you now is not to excite your emotions, but to confirm your alignment. You have been feeling a shift that is hard to explain. Certain things no longer move you the way they used to. Certain people no longer have the same access to your peace. Certain desires are still alive, but they no longer control you. That is not emptiness. That is maturity. Let me tell you, heaven does not release sacred things into hands that are still shaking from fear. God waits until your heart can receive without worshipping the gift. Lewis often pointed to this kind of truth in his Christian reflections. The soul becomes disordered when it tries to make created things carry the weight that only God can carry. And maybe that is why the waiting took so long. God was teaching you to return to Him first, before anything or anyone else could meet you. You did not find this message because you were searching for a person. This message found you because God has been preparing you for purpose. The strange calm you feel is not weakness. The silence around you is not abandonment. The simplicity entering your life is not loss. It is heaven clearing the room before something holy steps in. If you have felt lately that something unseen is shifting around your life, comment, "I know something is changing," and stay with this word. Because now you must understand this clearly. The 7 years were not empty years. They were construction years. God was not wasting your years. He was building a vessel strong enough to carry what you once only prayed for. The 7 years behind you were not a blank space in your story. They were not proof that heaven forgot your name. They were not punishment for needing time to heal. Hear me clearly, those years were divine construction. God was building patience where panic used to live. He was building discernment where confusion used to speak. He was building boundaries where fear once made you say yes to things that were slowly draining your spirit. You thought nothing was moving, but deep inside you, old foundations were being broken and rebuilt. Let me tell you, God does not place a holy assignment on unstable ground. He will delay the visible blessing until the hidden structure can hold the weight of it. If this person had entered your life too early, you might have leaned on them in a way that only God was meant to be leaned on. You might have called attachment love. You might have called intensity confirmation. You might have confused being chosen by someone with being secure in the one who chose you first. God is saying, I protected you from receiving the right thing in the wrong condition. That is why some doors almost opened, then closed. That is why some conversations faded. That is why certain desires stayed alive, but never became permission. Heaven was not denying you. Heaven was measuring the timing. See, yes, Lewis often showed through his Christian thought that the human heart becomes restless when it tries to make temporary things into ultimate things. And this was part of your training. God had to teach your heart to rest in Him before it could walk beside someone else without losing itself. The waiting taught you how to pray without bargaining. It taught you how to hope without grabbing. It taught you how to stand still without becoming bitter. Do you see it now? The delay did not weaken you, it clarified you. The silence did not bury you, it deepened you. The years did not steal from you. They removed what could not survive the next season. If you have ever looked back and realized God protected you by not giving you what you begged for too early, comment, He protected me, and stay close. Because construction always requires removal. And this is the part many chosen ones misunderstand. What left your life was not always rejection. Some of it was divine removal. And you must not treat what God removed as something you are free to resurrect. Hear me clearly, there are doors, heaven closed, because your future could not survive the people, patterns, and attachments standing on the other side. This is serious. Some connections did not end because you were unloved. They ended because they were quietly training you to betray yourself. Some rooms became uncomfortable because God was no longer giving grace for you to remain small inside them. Some friendships faded because they only knew how to love the version of you that was easier to control, easier to drain, easier to silence. God is saying, do not run back to what I delivered you from just because the new season has not fully appeared yet. That warning is mercy. You may miss what was familiar, but familiar is not always holy. You may feel tempted to return when loneliness rises, when memories soften the truth, when your heart starts editing the pain and calling it love. But let me warn you, the enemy often sends old comfort right before divine release. Because if he cannot stop what God prepared, he will try to pull you back into what God already judged. Lewis wrote in The Problem of Pain that God can use suffering as a severe mercy, not because he delights in pain, but because pain can awaken what comfort kept asleep. And this is why some losses became holy alarms in your life. They exposed what you kept tolerating. They uncovered the places where you were surviving on approval instead of resting in God. They revealed how much of your peace had been rented out to people who never had the authority to hold it. God was not being cruel when He removed them. He was rescuing your soul from agreements you no longer had the strength to break on your own. The 7 years did not only prepare you for someone, they purified your appetite. They taught you that peace is not boring, that consistency is not weakness, that love should not require you to abandon your discernment. And in the spirit of what Lewis often explored in Mere Christianity, surrender to God is not the destruction of the self, it is the beginning of becoming the self God intended. That is what was happening in the stripping. God was not erasing you. He was returning you to clarity, returning you to dignity, returning you to a voice that no longer trembles when it says no. The tears, the exits, the silence, the unanswered explanations. They were not meaningless fragments of pain. They were holy separations. They were evidence that God was making room. So do not curse the season that emptied your hands. Empty hands can finally receive what clenched hands could never hold. Do not grieve every loss as if it were death. Some losses were protection wearing the mask of heartbreak. Some endings were angels standing at the door saying, "Not this way. Not anymore. Not for the one God has called." And now, while God is bringing your next season closer, you must guard the ground He cleared. Do not let guilt reopen old access. Do not let nostalgia rewrite what God revealed. Do not let fear make you negotiate with chains. What could not honor your calling cannot walk with your destiny. And while God was removing what could not stay in you, He was also preparing someone you had not even met yet. The person assigned to your next season was not standing still. They were being broken, humbled, corrected, and prepared in places you never saw. Hear me clearly, this person did not spend 7 years frozen in a fantasy, whispering your name into the air, unable to live until you appeared. That is not how God prepares destiny. God matures people through real seasons, real losses, real choices, real surrender. They lived, they learned, they made mistakes, they faced consequences. They had to become honest about the parts of themselves that love alone could not fix. And while you were being stripped of old attachments, they were being stripped of pride, fear, control, avoidance, and every immature pattern that would have wounded you if they had arrived too soon. God is saying, I did not keep them away to punish you. I kept them away because both of you were still becoming safe for what I intended to build. Let that settle in your spirit. The person God is preparing for a sacred connection is not someone who performs holiness with loud words but lacks obedience in private. They are not someone who can impress you for a moment but disappear when responsibility arrives. This person has been taught by life. They have carried regret without letting it turn into bitterness. They have walked through disappointment without allowing disappointment to become their identity. They have learned that love is not control. Love is not possession. Love is not emotional hunger dressed in spiritual language. Love is stewardship. Love is patience. Love is the willingness to protect what God places between two people. And this is why the timing mattered. 7 years ago, they may have wanted connection, but wanting is not the same as being ready. They may have had emotion, but emotion is not covenant. They may have had attraction, but attraction is not assignment. God had to teach them consistency. He had to teach how to listen without defending themselves, how to take responsibility without collapsing into shame. See, donate. Lewis, in the spirit of the four loves, shows that human love becomes dangerous when it demands to be ultimate, when it tries to sit on the throne that belongs only to God. And that is one of the lessons this person had to learn. They had to stop making love a place to hide from themselves. They had to stop using affection as a substitute for surrender. They had to become someone who could walk beside you without needing to own you. Someone who could honor your calling without competing with it. Someone who could see the weight on your life and not become threatened by it. You will know the difference when they come near. Their presence will not make you smaller. Their attention will not make you frantic. Their silence will not make you feel abandoned. Their consistency will speak louder than their promises. Their spirit will not pull you away from God. It will make obedience feel more possible, more peaceful, more protected. This does not mean they will be perfect. Do not turn them into an idol before you even recognize them. They will have scars. They will have history. They will have areas still being softened by grace. But the difference is this: they will not glorify their wounds. They will not use pain as an excuse to harm what God is building. They will be teachable. They will be accountable. They will understand that what is holy must be handled slowly. If you are no longer asking God for someone exciting, but for someone aligned, comment, send, what is aligned, and stay close. Because this is not only about who is coming, it is also about what your own story is about to become. What you survived was not only for you. Someone else will borrow courage from your testimony. And one day, the very season that almost made you question everything will become the language God uses to strengthen another wounded soul. Hear me clearly. Heaven did not allow those 7 years to become a silent grave. God is turning them into a witness. You thought you were only waiting, only healing, only trying to make it through one more night without falling apart. But something deeper was being written in you. A testimony was being formed where no audience could see it. A voice was being shaped in the place where you had no applause, no explanation, no immediate reward. God is saying, I did not waste your tears. I collected them into purpose. There will come a moment when someone else will stand where you once stood, tired from delay, confused by silence, tempted to settle for what is beneath their calling. And your story will become evidence that God still prepares, still protects, still restores, and still brings what is aligned at the appointed time. This is why you could not give up. This is why the enemy tried so hard to make you believe your waiting was meaningless. If he could not stop the promise, he tried to steal the testimony attached to it. But you are still here, not untouched, not unscarred, not pretending the pain was easy, but still here with a deeper faith, a cleaner discernment, and a heart that has learned how to keep breathing in the presence of unanswered questions. C. S. Lewis, in the spirit of A. Grief Observed, shows how pain can strip away shallow language and bring the soul into a more honest conversation with God. And that is what happened to you. You stopped performing strength. You stopped pretending every delay felt beautiful. You brought God your confusion, your disappointment, your trembling hope. And somehow, even there, grace did not leave you. That is testimony, not a perfect story, not a polished image, not a life untouched by sorrow. Testimony is what remains when suffering meets the faithfulness of God and does not have the final word. Let me tell you, the person God is bringing into your next season will not just meet your smile. They will meet the wisdom your scars produced. They will meet the boundaries your heartbreak taught you. They will meet the peace that was born after years of wrestling, surrendering, and choosing not to become bitter. And someone watching your life will understand that God can take a delayed season and turn it into a holy announcement. So do not hide your story in shame. Do not despise the chapters that took longer than you expected. Do not call yourself behind when God was building a witness through your endurance. What you lived through will become oil for someone else's lamp. What almost broke you will help another chosen one. Keep walking. And this next connection will not erase your testimony. It will confirm it. It will stand as proof that God did not abandon the process. He was preparing the promise, preparing the vessel, and preparing the witness all at once. Stay with this word, because your testimony has weight. And now you must learn how to recognize what God sends without confusing it with what your wounds still want. You will not recognize it by panic. You will recognize it by peace. Hear me clearly when God begins to reveal this connection. It will not feel like the old storms that once called themselves love. It will not arrive with confusion so deep that you have to keep begging heaven for a sign just to survive the uncertainty. It will not make you feel smaller, less chosen, less steady, or less close to God. What God sends will not require you to abandon your discernment in order to keep it. The first sign will be peace, but not a weak peace, not a shallow peace, not the kind that comes from pretending nothing matters. It will be the kind of peace that stands quietly in your spirit, even while your mind is still trying to understand the details. You may not know everything at once, but you will not feel spiritually unsafe. You may have questions, but you will not feel tormented. You may move slowly, but you will not feel forced. God is saying, I will not lead you through anxiety and call it love. Let that correct something in you. Attraction is not always alignment. Intensity is not always confirmation. Familiar pain can feel like chemistry when your wounds are still speaking. But when something is truly sent by God, it will produce fruit, not just feelings. You will pray more clearly. You will stand more firmly. You will feel encouraged to obey, not tempted to compromise. Their presence will not pull you away from your assignment. It will make you more awake to it. C.S. Lewis, in The Spirit of the Four Loves, reminds us that love becomes disordered when it tries to become God. So the connection God sends will not demand worship. It will not consume your identity. It will not ask for the throne of your heart. It will point you back to the one who gave you life before this person ever arrived. Another sign will be consistency. Not dramatic words, not emotional fireworks, not promises made in a moment and broken in silence. Consistency. Watch how they handle small things. Watch how they respond when they are tired. Watch whether their actions match their language when no one is applauding them. What is real will have rhythm. What is aligned will have integrity. You will also recognize respect. They will not force access to your private world before trust has been built. They will not mock your boundaries, pressure your convictions, or make you feel guilty for protecting what God healed. They will understand that sacred things must unfold with patience, and you will feel that difference. You will not have to over-explain your worth. You will not have to perform spirituality to be understood. You will not have to shrink your calling to make them comfortable. Let me tell you, this connection will not be perfect. but it will be honest. There may be questions, but there will be room for conversation. There may be differences, but there will be humility. There may be fear rising from old wounds, but fear will not be allowed to drive the story. That is how you will know growth is present. Do not look for a person who never triggers anything in you. Look for a connection where truth can be spoken without destruction, where peace can return after hard conversations, where both people are willing to learn, adjust, and stay submitted to God. If you are asking, Lord, help me recognize what is from you and not from my wounds, come out, peace will be the sign. Stay close, because even a blessing can become dangerous if you place it where only God belongs. God will never send you someone who must replace him in order to keep you. Hear me clearly. This is the warning many people do not want to hear, but it is the warning that protects the promise. Even a blessing can become dangerous when it is lifted higher than the one who gave it. A divine connection is not your savior. It is not your identity. It is not the throne where your wounded heart finally gets to rest. Only God can hold that place. And anything you place there will eventually crush you beneath the weight it was never created to carry. God is saying, do not worship what I only sent to walk beside you. Let that enter your spirit with holy seriousness. If you turn this person into the answer to every ache, every lonely night, every unanswered prayer, every hidden fear, you will not receive them with love. You will receive them with hunger. And hunger without surrender becomes possession. It demands, it clings, it panics, it calls control devotion and anxiety discernment. That is not covenant. That is bondage wearing spiritual language. C. E.R.'s Lewis, in The Spirit of the Four Loves, warned that human love becomes distorted when it refuses to remain under God. Love is beautiful when it is surrendered, but it becomes a tyrant when it demands ultimate place. This is why God spent years teaching you to rest in Him before allowing this connection to draw near. He was not trying to make you emotionless. He was teaching your heart the correct order of love. God first. Purpose under God. Connection under purpose. Emotion under wisdom. Desire under obedience. Do not reverse the order and then call the confusion warfare. Some confusion is not an attack. Some confusion is the sound of a heart trying to make a gift become God. Let me warn you with compassion, do not chase what God is sending. Do not beg for what requires you to abandon peace. Do not bend your convictions just because affection feels rare. If the connection is truly aligned, it will not require spiritual compromise to survive. It will not punish your boundaries. It will not make prayer feel smaller in your life. It will not demand that you hide the calling God placed on you. Anything that needs you to shrink in order to stay close is not a holy assignment. It is a test. And if loneliness starts speaking louder than discernment, pause. Bring it back to God. Ask Him to purify what you are feeling before you act on it. You can desire deeply without gripping tightly. You can care without controlling. You can hope without building an idol. That is maturity. That is stewardship. That is the difference between receiving a blessing and being ruled by one. So protect the altar of your heart. Keep worship where worship belongs. Let gratitude rise, but do not let obsession enter. Let love grow, but do not let it dethrone obedience. Let the connection unfold, but do not surrender your center. God did not spend 7 years restoring you so you could lose yourself at the edge of the promise. Stay awake. Stay humble. Stay surrendered. Because what is truly from God will never ask to become your God. And now that this warning has been spoken, you must understand what to do while the door is opening, but the full picture has not yet appeared. Your next instruction is not to chase. Your next instruction is to steward. Hear me clearly. When God begins to open a door, your responsibility is not to kick it wider with fear, pressure, imagination, or impatience. Your responsibility is to stand before it with wisdom. Stay grounded. Stay prayerful. Stay honest. Stay slow enough to hear God before your emotions start speaking for Him. This is the moment where many people lose peace. Not because the promise is false, but because they try to control the way it arrives. Do not do that. God is saying, "Let me unfold what I have prepared without your panic trying to manage my timing." So guard your imagination. Do not build scenes in your mind that God has not revealed. Do not attach this word to someone simply because your loneliness wants an answer tonight. Do not turn one conversation, one memory, one feeling, or one sign into a complete story before heaven has given confirmation. What is holy does not need to be forced into clarity before its appointed time. Keep praying, but do not pray from desperation. Pray from alignment. Say, "Lord, purify my desire, strengthen my discernment. Teach me to receive without clinging and to wait without fear." That kind of prayer protects you. It keeps your heart open without making it reckless. It keeps your hope alive without letting hope become obsession. Let me tell you, stewardship means you continue living faithfully while God works privately. Do not pause your purpose. Do not abandon your routines. Do not stop becoming who God has called you to be just because something beautiful may be near. If this connection is truly from God, it will not require you to step out of obedience to receive it. It will meet you while you are walking with Him. Protect your peace. If something disturbs it, do not immediately run, and do not immediately cling. Bring it into prayer. Look for fruit. Look for consistency. Look for humility. Ask God for clarity. Then give truth time to reveal itself. Speak honestly, but without drama. Ask questions, but without accusation. Hold boundaries, but without fear. You are not responsible for controlling the outcome. You are responsible for remaining faithful in the process. See, today's Lewis, in the spirit of mere Christianity, points us back to the surrendered life. The self is not truly found by gripping tighter, but by yielding more deeply to God. That is your posture now. Open hands, clear eyes, steady spirit. Place your hand over your heart and say, "Lord, keep me aligned, keep me humble, keep me ready. I will not chase what you are sending. I will steward it with wisdom." And now, before this message closes, receive this final word over your waiting season. You were not late. You were being aligned. You were not forgotten. You were being protected. You were not overlooked. You were being prepared in places no one could see, through seasons no one could fully understand, and through silent battles you barely had the words to explain. Hear me clearly, God never wasted the wait. Every closed door, every lonely night, every unanswered question, every tear you tried to hide, every moment you chose obedience when compromise would have been easier. Heaven saw it. God is saying, I was not absent. I was arranging. And now, as this word settles over your spirit. Do not rush to make everything happen. Rest. Breathe. Let God be God. What is aligned will not need your panic to arrive. What is holy will not require you to abandon peace to keep it. What He prepared through 7 years of hidden work will not collapse because you choose to walk slowly, wisely, and prayerfully. This next season is not built on desperation. It is built on maturity, clarity, surrender, and divine timing. C.S. Lewis often pointed toward the truth that the heart is never fully at home until it rests in God. And that is the deeper miracle here before God allowed someone to find you. He taught you where your true rest belongs. So walk forward without fear. Do not cling. Do not chase. Do not shrink. Do not reopen what God closed. Let peace lead you. Let wisdom guard you. Let prayer steady you. Let obedience keep you close to the one who knew your name before anyone else could recognize your value. If this message confirmed what your spirit already knew, comment, "God never wasted my wait." Declare it with faith. Like this video as an act of agreement. Subscribe for more prophetic Christian messages. And share this with one person who is tired of waiting and needs to know that God is still working. Walk in peace. Walk in wisdom. Walk in holy expectation. The wait did not break you, it built you. And what God built in secret, He is now ready to reveal in His perfect time.